this lovely Wednesday morning at 11-ish. And because it's 11 o'clock and because it's Wednesday, that means it's time for Elevenses with the Reps at Diesel Bookstore. Again, welcome and thank you for joining us. If this is your first time joining us for Elevenses, which it may be, every Wednesday we get together here in our wonderful little Hollywood Squares space here with our fantastic booksellers and our wonderful publishers representatives. And we discuss all of the new, upcoming, and recently released titles that we really want you to know about and tell you more about so that you can purchase them for yourself or your family, for gifts, for anybody. And because we want you to be able to do that, we are posting links to every book that we talk about today in the chat. So you can relax and click on them later. Those links are live and will take you right to the book. We have 4 absolutely fabulous sales reps with us today, and I'm going to introduce them all in a moment. But first, I do want to talk to you about what is happening at the store this week. I forgot to do that last week, and I'm not going to this week. So coming up this week at Diesel, we've got Larry Charles discussing and signing Comedy Samurai, 40 Years of Blood, Guts, and Laughter. That is going to be on Thursday, tomorrow, September 4th at 6:30 p.m. And that's Larry Charles. That's going to be a lot of fun, and that is at the store, 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. And then coming up on Tuesday, September 9th at 6:30 p.m., we have Alexis Dvoshnik, and she will be discussing and signing Nights and Weekends, Recipes That Make the Most of Your Time. That's a cookbook discussion over there. And joining her in conversation will be Ben Mims. Okay, so that's Tuesday at 6:30. And that's what we've got coming up this week at Diesel, but there are more events, and we have posted a link over there in the chat to our calendar, so you can take a look at all of the wonderful events that are coming up for us. Okay, let's get to it, because look what we have here, the star-studded roster of reps. I'm so excited. So who's joining us today? We have Liz Camfiord from Random House.
Hi.
And we haven't seen Liz for a while. I'm very excited that Liz is back. I hope you're all rested and ready to go, Liz, because it's going to be a busy fall. We have Patricia Nelson from Princeton University Press. Always great to see you, Patricia. And Shannon Grant from Simon & Schuster. We also haven't seen for a long time. And I know that Shannon has a ton of great books to talk about. And rounding it out, we've got our lovely returning champion of kids' books, Kristin Rasmussen from Scholastic. Always got a great selection as well. Okay, because we have so much to talk about today, I'm just going to launch right into it. Liz, why don't you lead us off?
Thank you. It's so great to see you. The women are in the house.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm always, then when we have the all women Elevenses, it's always like a star-studded, action-packed collection. So great.
So I will start off with the book that went on sale yesterday. I think it's really topical and important. It's called The Shape of Water by our beloved physicist, Alan Lightman. You may know him. He's taught at Harvard and MIT, and he's known for books like Einstein's Dream. He has a really great backlist. But this is something special because he's joined with Martin Rees, who's the UK's astronomer royal, and he's bringing readers inside the scientific process. I think now more than ever, with the CDC under threat and all of the anti-science misinformation that's out there, we really want to have an accessible book for any, adult reader to go into not just the scientific process, but what's really wonderful about this book is the lives of the scientists. So from who you might expect, like Charles Darwin, but also to lesser known scientists that have really made their mark, like Barbara McClintock. There's Werner Heisenberg in here, and it just provides this in-depth look to their accomplishments, but as I said, also their lives, and things that textbooks often neglect, their personal lives. So I just want people to grab this. It's on, you have copies in the store. I think it would be a great gift for, I know students are back to school, but, for the holidays or something, it would be such a wonderful gift to give, because it's he's just a great writer. And I'm going to read a quote by one of our most well-known writers. She writes a lot about birds, Jennifer Ackerman, most recently of What the Owl Knows, and she's just the best person to blurb this book. So she says, "I loved this book. It's a remarkable window into what it's really like to be a scientist. The stories are riveting, allowing us to connect with scientists, their passion, curiosity, ways of thinking, and yes, wonder in a deeply personal way, illuminating with refreshing clarity their ordinary and sometimes extraordinary work. The book is essential reading because it offers a clear understanding of the science itself, so vital to making wise choices that will shape the lives of our children and our children's children." So that's my nonfiction pick of the month of September, The Shape of Wonder.
That's a great pick to have for the month of September. I mean, I love this kind of book because it's so accessible to lay readers, and it just sort of speaks to that question that we have from time to time, like, how did they come up with this? What did you have to be thinking about when you invented or decided to do an experiment about, like, aspirin, for example? Like, who's
Mhm.
the first person who thought about, you know, drinking tree bark and wow, my headache went away? I mean, this is the kind of thing that, and
Yeah.
understanding the process that gets to that kind of thing, it's great and it's so
Mhm.
readable. The writing is so accessible. So a wonderful book. I'm reading a lot of this great nonfiction lately. There's such great nonfiction. I know everybody defaults to fiction, and fiction is wonderful, of course. But this fall has a lot of great nonfiction, and that is one of them.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, Liz. All right, Patricia.
Well, I'm going to do a quick uh, shout out before I start for a book that has sold 1 million copies. Doesn't happen very often in university press. This is On Bullshit by Harry Frankfurt. Now, in its new 20th anniversary edition, he has explained the difference between truth and bullshit. And you might be surprised that this has experienced quite a Trump bump. You can take that for
I'm shocked.
whatever.
I'm
But
completely shocked.
it is a very interesting book, and now in a new edition. The book I'm going to talk about is The Football. I really love this book. It is an extraordinarily interesting novelty math book by Etienne Guise, who is a French mathematician of great renown. It's on the amazing mathematics of the world's most watched object, as he calls it, which would be the soccer ball. It's on geometry, engineering, and physics of soccer balls, their ballistics, friction. It begins comfortably with Archimedean solids and the classic Telstar ball. You know this ball from the 1970 World Cup in Mexico, made of 12 black hexagons and 20 white, 12 black pentagons and 20 white hexagons. He goes on to show us the Brazuca ball. I learned quite a bit here from the Adidas Hall of Fame. The Brazuca ball was named by the vote of millions of Brazilians for the Brazilian World Cup, and is made, if you can see this, of curved panels. That is his favorite. I like the Al-Ria ball. This name in Arabic means journey. This was the Qatar 2022 World Cup. It's made of triangles and kite-shaped panels and is an icosahedron. So there's mathematics of platonic solids, there's symmetries, there's turbulence, there's roughness, there's drag and spin. He looks at the effect of spin in the famous 1997 free kick by Roberto Carlos. You can find that on YouTube. The ball traveled 35 meters in a curve to make the goal. And he explains how that spin actually functioned. So it's playful, it's highly entertaining, it's only 1995, it's beautifully illustrated throughout, it's all color and full of amazement. You might be forced to look up the Adidas Hall of Fame. There are players' comments on the looks and the characteristics of different balls. And it's just totally fun for the coming year, which I believe we'll see a lot of soccer in the US, for the nerdy armchair math fan. And it's just sports math at its best.
You have the best books, Patricia. Like who would have thought of this, right? And then all of a sudden,
yes, it's extremely nerdy, but it really is fun.
I know.
And, yes, there's quite a bit.
Nerdy books, the best. Like I wouldn't have ever thought that this would be the kind of book that I'd be interested in, but you were talking about it, and it's like now I have to have it.
I know, and the way you present, it's like I'm sitting in a library at your feet, and as an 8-year-old, that's so great.
That's Patricia.
It is fun. There's lots of Renaissance math and lots of craziness. So,
but also, I mean, this is just a fabulous gift idea for any sports enthusiast in your life, and any nerdy type of person who likes this kind of thing. I mean, I can think of a lot of people I know who aren't necessarily huge soccer fans, but would absolutely love this book. So, and then of course, On Bush, I cannot believe it's been 20 years, but I remember just
it went so fast. There was so much of it. Yes.
million. I'm surprised only a million copies.
It's been our lifetime, that's for sure.
Yeah, I still have my original copy on my shelf. So, thank you, Patricia. All right, Shannon, been waiting for you.
Yeah, Patricia, that sounds so good. I'm making Christmas lists already. It's like math for the math avoidant and the sports fan. Like, it's perfect. Yes, so fall is here. There's so many things when I was going through the catalog that I could have picked. It was hard already, and the season has just begun. So first up is a debut novel. It was selected for September Indie Next, and it was announced yesterday. It's Reese's September pick. It's To the Moon and Back by Eliana Ramage, and it's a gorgeous kind of sprawling novel that is about one woman. She's a Cherokee woman, and it's her relentless, dogged pursuit of becoming the first Cherokee female astronaut. And it's, messy family, full of complicated characters that you both love and want to shake because of some of the choices they make. And it's just like her writing is gorgeous. She's an Iowa's Writers Workshop graduate, and it shows, and I'm just thrilled that it's here. I've heard nothing but love for it from indie booksellers all over the place. So I mean, a great book club pick. But if you're just looking it's a meaty novel, I feel like, but it's propulsive, even though it spans 3 decades, and it is a little on the longer side. It's just beautiful, complicated family story. And so interesting with a lot of history, and how our family trauma kind of follows us through life, but never feels heavy or sad or any of those things. It's just like one of those compelling, perfect reads that you want to hand to people.
I've noticed, Reese's picks are, I think she does a great job with the picks, even though it's just a huge, all-encompassing, it's sort of like the #1 book club right now, right?
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
she does. I really a lot. I know that they're not everybody always loves a book club, but I really like her. Most of all of her picks, I feel like, are very.
I mean, I think she tries to sort of stray like outside the prescribed book club lines, but these kind of big, national book clubs have to, they have to be a pretty wide umbrella and envelop as many people as possible. But even within that, I think she has some interesting picks and some different, a little bit different, I have missed this one. I haven't read it yet, but the description of it is so compelling to me. I love this combination of things that all come together in the story. So I'm excited to take a look at it. And
yeah, it's once you start, it just goes. It's really a fascinating read, and lots of history about the Cherokee Nation, and I mean, lots of like talk about math nerd, that lots of like NASA facts and astronaut information, and I love a good family trauma to get
well,
lost in.
So far, I think we're the first three books are all STEM. I think we're and I'm going over to Kristin now, who's
well, now for something completely different. Well, I guess my first pick today could be considered a little bit STEM. It's got to do with an adorable little creature named Max, who is a little axolotl. So this one is a graphic novel, and it just landed on the shelves at Diesel yesterday. So I know that you have a couple copies there. Or I'm sure that Joey and Deborah would order more if you need them. But this one is absolutely adorable. So it's Max, a little axolotl. That's the first in a series. It's a graphic novel format. And what I love about this one especially is it's really great for kids who, I mean, come on, look at him.
So cute.
Could he be any cuter? It's perfect for younger kids. It's the sweet spot for this one, I think, is probably a kid in first, second, third grade, maybe somewhere along there. So not a ton of text, not super text heavy. The graphics are, as you can see from the cover, adorable. And basically what happens to Max is he's taken from his home in Mexico, and he's taken to rescued, actually, because his home is endangered. And he's taken to an aquarium, and there he meets all kinds of new people. And it's pretty much the story of him in his new environment, which is a little bit like being a new student in a new school. So that is something a lot of kids can relate to. And it is still kind of back to school time. So this is a perfect book to reassure kids that all is going to be okay. And I love Max so much. I think he's adorable. It's a super accessible graphic novel for a little bit of a younger kid, and it would be great for this time of year. Also, I know from our friends at Circana that axolotls are hot right now. So apparently there's everybody's got him, but this guy is pretty cute. So check him out. He's adorable. And it's Joey Spiotto is the author, and it just came out yesterday.
So to your point about axolotls being hot, who I, of course, never heard of an axolotl until I was in the bookstore, and then there was this great book about axolotls, and Patricia's nodding, because who would know about axolotls more than Patricia, obviously. This amazing creature, and there was this beautiful picture book, which of course maybe Joey, who's behind the scenes, remembers, because it was a big picture book and absolutely gorgeous. Devoted to this creature, and somebody came into the bookstore one day with their little one, and she's looking for a book on axolotls. Like, I don't even know what that is. And I said, I got one right here. And he was like,
Who
what?
knew?
What? And now there's even more. So
yes.
this is absolutely the most adorable one I've seen so
Yeah.
far.
He's pretty cute, and there will be more. This is just the first of many, hopefully. So yeah, check this one out. I think it's a great book. It's so cute and funny and sweet and has all the feels, and it's a perfect book to get younger kids really interested in reading, and graphic novels especially. So I love it. I think it's adorable.
It is. Thank you.
I have to say, axolotls are very big with my granddaughters, and who have stuffed axolotls. And I can't think of any more satisfying word than axolotl for a very small person to read.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this is going to be a hit.
Stuffies. I didn't even think of that, of course. So.
Oh no, those what they have a special name. Those big, giant ones.
Right. Of course, naturally. Thank you so much, Kristin. All right. Squishmallows, Joey says in the chat. Okay, that's actually the name of it. All right. No problem. Dewdrop. Joey is shouting out Dewdrop. Yes. Thank you, Joey. All right. Back to you, Liz.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Before we go back to Liz, here's Dewdrop. That's right. Dewdrop is absolutely adorable. It's a really cute book. Thank you for that, Joey. All right. Now we're going to go back to Liz.
I don't know if my book is cute that I'm going to talk about, but it's very tender. It's the novel When the Cranes Fly South. It won the Swedish Book of the Year award. It came out in August. It's a paperback original, a debut novel from the Swedish writer Lisa Ridzén. She's a doctoral student, and she's actually researching masculinity norms in the rural far north. And this book was inspired by caregiver notes that she read and found for her grandfather. So the main character in this novel is Bo. He's an elderly widower, and he's living in a small house in the Swedish countryside, and he is just struggling to maintain his autonomy. He really just goes from his bed to the shower. He has a rotation of caregivers who come in. He's a man who's been basically pretty stoic in his life, but with, the stoic man with the very deep sensitivity and the deep well that is this man. So his sole companion is his elk hound, Sixten, and his only child, his son, comes and feels that this big elk hound is not getting the care that he needs because his father really just can't walk him and take care of him, so is basically threatening to take this great love of Bo's away from him. But it's really much more than a story about an old elderly man and his dog. It's a very short novel. It's really a profound novel, and he's reflecting on his life, a best friend, people passing away, courting his wife, meeting her family. It's just amazing how much is in this short novel. It's a novel the size of a Claire Keegan novel, for instance. So I just couldn't recommend this highly enough. The emotional impact, but not sentimental. I don't like sentimental, emotional, and deep. And it really reminded me of, when I read Knut Hampson's The Growth of Soil, which is a much bigger book, but that same sensibility. And also Lars Gustafsson, another Scandinavian writer. I loved his book, Tyler's Afternoon. These are going way back, but just that's what made me so delighted to discover a book that I felt that way about with these older favorite novels. So did I say it was an Indie Next pick? It's doing extremely well. I know there are copies in the store. And I can't think of anybody who wouldn't respond to this book, but I think there's a special place for caregivers and children of elderly parents that are having some of these same struggles. So that's when the cranes fly south, and the writing is beautiful, not just the storytelling, the actual writing.
I love a book that can mine such deep emotional content without being sentimental or predictable, and it's reserved on one level, but not lacking any of the beauty that goes along with that. This is my favorite kind of book, and also that can do it in such a short format, which is so much harder than taking 700 pages. To nothing wrong with 700-page books. There's a lot of them I've really liked, but when you can do it in a novel that's sort of 200 pages or under, that's very, very impressive.
And her debut. I mean, it's really a and I forgot to mention, but one of the things that makes it that easy of a read is these caregiver notes are interspersed in the book. And so you get that sort of break to contemplate.
Another really excellent gift, I think. I mean, you'll want one for yourself, but also I think we all know people who would want this book as well. It would just be a perfect book for it. So another wonderful one. Thank you, Liz. All right, we're going to go back to Patricia now.
Well, one of the books I've been waiting for this season has arrived, and this is it, Fuji. This is a marvelous looking book. It just is so attractive all around. And indeed, it is a book about a mountain in the making, a biography of Mount Fuji in a kind of holistic way, very in-depth, from its geological origins as an active volcano through its influence in Japanese culture, literature, and history. So it just has a very rich quality. It sees this mountain as a kind of vibrant participant in Japan's long history and a dominating presence. Mount Fuji as part of the Ring of Fire, which we've been noticing even this week in Hawaii with an active volcano. Fuji is the sister mountain to Mount Rainier in Washington. In this human history of Japanese living with Fuji, an object of veneration, of destruction, a cosmic entity providing water and rice, a site of pilgrimage. At the peak, there are 8 kind of sides to the peak of Mount Fuji, which is similar to the 8-sided lotus of Buddhism and an aspect of its veneration. We look at the poets Basho and later Issa, who wrote haiku cycles that might even have prefigured the cycles of images of Hokusai and Hiroshige. We have a nice, of course, illustration section in the book with, attractive images of the mountain, of art, of tapestry, and so on. It's also a political geography and history of Japan. There's some interesting moments of Western imperialism, some boorish Victorian British colonial travelers insisting on climbing the mountain and, planting the flag and singing God Save the Queen in generally unattractive manner. There are other responses to Fuji. There's an environmental look. There's militarism in the late 20th century. There's even, a quick moment for Godzilla in Mount Fuji. So Fuji as a cultural symbol and as a kind of a national icon. I really find the whole aspect of this book, I think there's a great interest and thirst for. It could be travel literature, cultural literature, a place. And this could fit in a number of different categories of history or of culture, and just a satisfying addition to reading in place, in this case, reading in Japan and reading Mount Fuji.
Okay, so you're going to think I'm making this up, but I just yesterday was looking. There's been this little meme that's going around the internets of this woman, journalist, watching the new train that they have, this new really fast train they have. And she's just mouth agape when it comes by. But in the background is Fuji. And I was looking at it and thinking to myself, this is just such an instantly recognizable, iconic symbol. Every time you see Mount Fuji, you know it's Mount Fuji, and so much comes rushing in that you think about associated with Mount Fuji. And
Yeah.
I lived in the Ring of Fire in Oregon, in the middle of all of those volcanoes, and was there when, you know, that one erupted, St. Helens.
Now St. Helens, my grandfather was in Portland at that time and sent us ash.
Everywhere. There was ash like
And when
this.
I was recently in the Northwest selling, I saw, of course, a whole side of a building painted with Mount Fuji, which was part of advertisement for one of the airlines doing nonstop to Japan.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I think all mountains have great character. I live around mountains, around the New Mexico mountains, but this particular mountain has an unusually well-developed and rich world character.
Absolutely. And you have sold a copy already to Liz, who this is the beautiful package and a gorgeous book, and also a great idea. I'm surprised we haven't seen it before. So,
I have a quick question. Is it a regular hardcover with a dust jacket, or is it almost?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a full regular hardcover.
Yeah, beautiful cover as well.
Kind of history type package, center color section, and
yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Patricia. All right, Shannon, back to you.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about, this is competing for maybe one of my favorite books of the year. And I'm thrilled that it's come out, and Deborah knows that I love a gorgeous memoir. So this is Arundhati Roy's Mother Mary Comes to Me, that has already been, it's a finalist for the Kirkus Prize for Nonfiction. It's an Indie Next selection. You may know her. She is the Booker Prize winner for God of Small Things, which I think came out in like 96, 97. Which
Joey will figure that out.
Yeah. Catapulted her to literary fame. But this is her memoir, which, is kind of structured around her very complicated relationship with her mother, who was kind of a force of nature. She, was like she did very questionable things mothering, but she, was a force in her own right. She won a Supreme court case about in property inheritance for women. She founded this like very progressive school in India, and so like people all over the country knew her and referred to her as Mother. 97. Thanks, Joey. Refer to her as Mother Mary, but maybe in the mothering department, Arundhati describes her as like her shelter and her storm. So it's just this gorgeous memoir that covers the span of her life. And besides all of the mother and the family stuff, it's like a lot of politics, a lot of kind of her coming of age, going to architecture school, and really like she kind of left home at 18 as like to get away, and like had to scrap by on her own and with her writing, and anyways, just all around fascinating, and one of those beautifully written things where the sentences just really you want to stop while you're reading the entire time and highlight. It's just like gorgeous prose, but beautifully done. She's getting a ton of media, and I really feel like it's going to be one of the on people's best of lists by the end of the year.
Oh, 100%, no question. This is absolutely gorgeous, and I knew when I saw the advanced reader copy a long time ago that this was going to be huge, and just it does literally call to me. And
yeah, I know the package is so good too.
It really is, yeah. And wasn't disappointed. It's absolutely beautiful. I think it's a slam dunk going into the holidays, and almost 30 years later, going strong, right? So there's for good reason. So An absolutely beautiful book, and another wonderful gift. You buy an extra one and just have it for whoever doesn't get to the store to buy it first ahead of you.
Right.
Thanks so much, Shannon. All right, Kristin, back to you.
Okay, so back at it. Next up, I have a wonderful, wonderful middle grade choice, and it's called The Last Resort by the fantastic award-winning author Aaron Entrada Kelly. This one also landed on the shelves at Diesel just yesterday, so it's brand new. It is first and foremost just a fantastic, fun, straight up spooky ghost story. It is absolutely great. The premise is basically that these two kids have gone back. Their grandfather has passed, and he has an inn in Ohio. And what do you know? It happens to be haunted. So there's there it is on the cover, which is so great. So it's this kind of crazy Victorian house with all this spooky stuff going on. And it's just absolutely one of the best ghost stories I've read in a long time. And that I really have to say, to kind of differentiate it, it is not horror. So it's not gory. It's perfect for grade school kids. There's nothing that's going to, I don't think, really keep them up at night. So you don't have to be afraid, but a little bit afraid. It's really, really great. And Aaron Entrada Kelly does such a great job. Where this one really kind of shines, though, is that it has a graphic element in it that allows kids to scan a QR code and kind of put themselves in part of the story to help solve the mystery and speak with the ghosts who are in this story, and all kinds of ask questions and get answers and all kinds of cool stuff. So I think it works on two levels. First and foremost, it's a phenomenal story. She's done a great job with it. So the kid who's a really strong reader will jump right in and be so happy. Maybe the child who this is going to put over the edge, who's maybe more of a reluctant reader, who needs something a little more graphic, that has previously only been maybe interested in graphic novels, and this will kind of get them into the other space, which I really am excited about. It's a whole new technology for us. It's a whole new type of book for us. And the good news is this is only one of hopefully many. The next one is coming out in it's January of 26, and that one will be by the equally wonderful Jasmine Warga. So there are many more to come, hopefully, and I'm just so excited about this one. I think it's really, really incredibly special, a beautiful package, beautiful technology behind it, but at its very most important core, it's just solid storytelling.
What a great idea. I love this idea that they can go in and of course, kids that age, middle reader, they're completely adept at all of this kind of thing. You don't have to tell them what to do.
Right.
They know exactly how to do it.
Right.
Probably somebody that age designed it, I would imagine. Figured it out.
It's great. If you get a chance, or you or Joey get a chance to try it next time you're in the store, and you can, play with it a little bit. It really is fun. And it's just such a great, it's so many great aspects of this. And I'm really hoping it takes off, because like I said, the Scholastic is getting really quality award-winning authors to participate in this journey. And I'm really excited about that, because I know that that kind of middle grade space has been tricky for a while. And I'm hoping this will really pull kids in.
Yeah, it's tricky, and yet it's so rich with possibilities, because as I talk about probably every week on Elevenses, that's just really where I think you can really capture readers, because they're not really ready for like super sophisticated themes or tough reading at that age, but they're very good readers, and they're discriminating at this point, and they're just starting to pick out their own books and know what they like, and
they know what they like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're smart. They're smart readers, and you
Yeah.
don't want to. That's why I think having somebody of the quality of Aaron Entrada Kelly and Jasmine Warga write these things really helps us pay attention to the fact that they're looking for good stories.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great. And just in time for, spooky season. Thank you, Kristin. I know. Thank you. All right. We'll start our last round of the day with Liz.
So speaking of gorgeous memoirs, this was just reviewed in the New York Times, Strong Roots, and it's by Olia Hercules, who's a well-known Ukrainian-born chef. And I love reading profiles of her. She's such a lovely, special person. So when Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Olia felt like it was time to tell her family's story. And I'm also thinking about a novel that we just published called Endling, that's up for a Booker Prize, that's set in Ukraine. And I mean, that's a novel, but I just feel like having read that and liked it, and it was original, but it made me hunger for, and I think hunger, that's the right word, right?
Mm-hmm.
For this, what is family life like in Ukraine? What, through generations. And it just turns out that Olia not only can cook incredible food, but she also can write. And one of my booksellers, Pat, who we love at Arinda Books, the owner of Arinda Books, when I sent her the ARC, she just gobbled it up and said, "I'm so fully absorbed by this book. I don't want it to end. It both warms my heart and fills me with tears." So yes, it begins with the Russian invasion, and then it goes back in time to tell her family story, as I said, but also a complicated history of Ukraine. It's really great for readers of, these sweeping family panoramic histories, like Don't Let's Go to the Dogs Tonight by Alexandra Fuller, it reminds me of. And, she just writes all the time. Actually, she's an eater. She's an Epicurious. Following her Instagram is a total joy. I was just in London and I was so sad to miss one of her pop-up dinners. But this has been on sale for a couple of weeks. I don't know of anything like it out there. And we're all in bookstores all the time about Ukraine from this perspective. So I hope readers will pick it up at the stores. I know you have copies, and that's my last book of the day. So
Kristin wants to know if there are recipes in the book. Oh, you went mute there for a sec.
Oh, because I muted myself. I was done. Kristin, what are you doing? Recipes. No, I don't think there are recipes, but there are plenty of recipes in her blogs and all of that. It's really a kind of a straight ahead memoir.
And also, there are, Kristin, a couple of really amazing Ukrainian cookbooks out this season, coming out this season. I've had a chance to look at a couple. Of course, the titles of them are escaping me at the moment, but a great compliment to this book, actually, as well. So thank you, Liz. We'll let you be actually muted this time.
Well, so since I'm unmuted, I will say that the New York Times gave it a great review, and I love even just the headline of the review: "A memoir of Ukraine spiced with dill, strength, and heartache."
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right, Patricia, your last book of the day.
I have to say, I've followed her Instagram and looked at this new book, and it's wonderful. It's very powerful.
Thank you.
I love it. I'm also going to talk about, for the last book, a book I particularly like this season called Following the Bend by Ellen Wohl, who is a geologist and naturalist over the last 3 decades, but also a truly great nature writer. So this definitely has a lot of science in it. It is a rich, full book on the how rivers distribute energy, how they move sediment, how they cut landscape, how they are living organisms, ecosystems. It's a very impassioned guide to interpreting rivers, and it really shines with a passion for her subject. You can feel her describing fieldwork as cold and hot, dusty and damp, always dirty in Siberia, in wherever she is in the world, in South America. She teaches in Colorado, and there's also a tone here that is familiar to us who read Water in the West. So there's fluvial geomorphology. There's an introduction to geomorphology and water chemistry and riverbank ecology. We're looking at rivers bulking up on sediment, reshaping the earth. At the same time, it's very personal. She has been up to Mount Everest looking at glacial outbursts of boulders. She's portaged sediment collected in the Yukon. She's spent years on a project in Colorado in Little Beaver Creek, which unexpectedly happened to be the site of a major fire. So she could really track the aftermath of fire and how that affects a river ecology. She's been said to stand with the best of contemporary nature writing. She just brings so much personality and beauty to and feeling to this intertwining of geology, ecology, and human history. I think it's interesting that she's a strong advocate for the legal personhood of a river, how it maintains its distinctive spirit, identity, and integrity. And now I'm seeing a certain sympathy between my mountain and my river book. And it is a moment for river books. We're reading Robert Macfarlane. There are a number of major books on the Mississippi, the Potomac. Many of us have a river book in our region, our area. I don't know of a book quite like this. It was hard to find a comp for this title that was not a heavy textbook, possibly also written by Ellen Wool. It has a flow to it, which is perfectly lovely. She says in it, "Read me a river. A river is poised at the meeting of earth and sky, fed by both. Rivers as the amount of flow changing through time."
Gorgeous. And you have said it, you read, you mentioned Robert Macfarlane, which, and then Joey mentions over there also that that book is A River Alive, which was recent, actually, within the last year, that one came out. Also a lovely book. But it is, along with Axolotls, having a moment. And why wouldn't it? Rivers capture the imagination as much as mountains do. So this looks like an absolutely extraordinary book. Beautiful. Thank you, Patricia. Shannon, your last book of the day.
I'm going to bring us home with a kid's book. I'm going to join Kristin in pitching you some kids' gifts. One of my favorites coming out on the fall list is called Troubling Tonsils, and it is by an iconic picture book duo, Aaron Reynolds and Peter Brown, and they have brought us the Creepy series, which you may be familiar with, Creepy Carrots and Creepy Pair of Underwear and Creepy Cat Crowns. Stores just sell them by the bucket loads. So they this new one is Jasper's Creepy Tales. They're a step kind of like that bridge, kind of an early chapter book, I would say ages 6 to 9, so like highly illustrated beginning reader type stuff. Look at that. So Charlie Marmot is has tonsillitis, and he is going to get his tonsils out. The story is narrated by kind of like a Rod Sterling character, very Twilight Zone-esque. So lots of like cheeky, sarcastic humor, but his tonsils go missing, and then lots of creepy things start to happen. The artwork is all, as you can kind of see, it's like this black and white and gray, Twilight Zone kind of style, like all of the creepy picture books. And then there's always a spot color, and this spot color is like like a pink tonsil color. It's hysterical. I think it's when I love something to read aloud with your kids, it's just as much fun for you as it is for them. And I think that ticks the box. But I just feel like it's another perfect gift that I wish I knew someone in this age range to sit and read this with, because it's hysterical. he's talking about peeing his pants from whether you're scared or it's funny on the first page.
Yeah. I love these books. You're right. They do just bucket load is right. The creepy series. And this is awfully cute. And really, we haven't talked about tonsils for a while, have we?
Right.
That hasn't come up lately. So, perfect. Really super cute. Adorable book. And that leads us really an excellent seg to Kristin, who is going to wrap us up for the day.
Okay. Well, I have to say, Shannon, I didn't even get a chance to tell you this, but I've been on sales calls. I was in LA last week on sales calls, and I think not one but two people said to me, "Have you seen this new Reynolds and Brown book that Simon has coming out?" And I'm like, "Oh, so good." Every time last year, I think you had, was it Rocket Puppies? I have so much envy over Rocket Puppies. I can't.
Yes, we had Rocket Puppies. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, so good. So I'm going to look for that one too, though. Okay. Last but certainly not least, I have for you all a wonderful, wonderful young adult novel called The Dead of Summer, which has the most amazing cover. It's super cool. It is, as I said, young adult. And when I said to you that the last one was, I mean, look at that cover. Isn't that cool? Yeah. When I said to you that the last book, The Last Resort, was spooky, not gory, this is gory, hardcore thriller. We're describing it as Stephen King meets Holly Jackson by way of We Were Liars.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is absolutely action-packed queer horror from the author who brought us The Beholder and The Honeys. Love Ryan LaSala. This is going to be out in just a little bit. So you have to wait a little while for this, but it will be on the shelves at Diesel on September 16th. So not too much longer, but I just wanted to cue it up because I'm absolutely crazy about this one. Basically, it's a story of a young man coming back to his home on a little island, kind of like maybe like a Provincetown kind of feel, Martha's Vineyard kind of feel. It's called Anchor's Mercy, which is such a great name. He's been away for a year while his mom is battling cancer. They're back and she's cancer free. And so they're all very excited to be home. But basically, he's having some friend trouble. This young man's having some friend trouble. And everything starts to kind of, I don't know, erode literally and figuratively when there's a huge storm. So it's such a fascinating read. It's funny. We see a lot of wonderful drag queens in this one. We have a fantastic mother-son relationship. We have a ton of gory horror for people who love that. It's got all the things. So this is Ryan LaSala. I absolutely adore him. I think his writing is so fantastic. And if you haven't read him before, this would be the perfect place to start. So it's called The Dead of Summer, and it is going to rock your world.
I could stare at this cover all day long. It's absolutely
crazy.
Gorgeous.
It's a crazy ride. It's a crazy ride.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had young adult readers come into the bookstore and say, I just want something that is just gonna scare the life out of me. I want it I want really just as horror filled and gruesome as you can make it. What is the most traumatizing horror book you have on the shelf?
This is it.
Yeah. What's the scariest book in the store? They do that. I've heard that many times. I guess Joey's got House of Leaves all queued up for the scariest book.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But there's a real, and I think that part of the appeal there is the same as the appeal of wanting to watch disaster films or super dystopian films. Ever since I was a kid, I really gravitated to disaster films, and everyone always asked me what's wrong with me, but also these are actual coping mechanisms. When you prepare, it's sort of like when you prepare for the worst, what comes is not as bad because you've seen the worst, right?
Right.
So I think that's part of the appeal here, actually, and it's done really artfully, and you know, these authors know their audience, and especially this one looks great.
They do.
Yeah,
No,
it
it's
looks great.
really fun. It's got all the scary stuff, but also a lot of humor and heart. So I think it's a terrific read. If you like that kind of thing, you'll love it.
Right, exactly. Perfect.
Oh, I was going to say, when you first started talking about it, I immediately thought of We Were Liars. And
Right.
that book, I always have to remind myself it's sold in as YA because we read it for like a book. I mean, there's still so many adult readers of YA, I think.
Right. A lot of crossover.
Yeah, there a lot. And they're yeah, it's that's why, again, back to middle grade for just a second. That's why middle grade is such an important category, because so many YA books are, you know, like adult in all of these ways. So it's really an important, when we've got good stuff in that category, it's really important. So wow, well, that's a great way to end. And I knew this was going to be a fantastic presentation because you all always bring it. And I'm so happy that you joined us today for all of these fantastic books. Thank you so much to this wonderful collection of fantastic, professional, and lovely reps. Liz Camfiord from Random House, Patricia Nelson from Princeton University Press, Shannon Grant from Simon & Schuster, and Kristin Rasmussen from Scholastic. You are all wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you very much to Joey, who is behind the scenes being a producer and getting all the links and the covers up for us. Really appreciate you, Joey, as always. And thank you for joining us, whether you're joining us live today or you're watching us later. We appreciate you as well. And we hope that you will come back again next week, because we will be back here next week at 11 o'clock on Wednesday with more reps and more fantastic books to talk about. In the meantime, we've definitely got you covered. The links are all there. So happy reading. Have a wonderful week. Try to stay cool in all ways. And we will see you next week. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much, Deborah.